Hey Scooby, we only have two what would you do's today because I'm a slacker. No. I hate pool when I'm playing bad, and I love it when I'm playing good. And I really wasn't playing good on this day, which was back in April. Since then, I've been back in stroke and feeling good. So I guess I'm kind of like a fair weather player, if that's how you want to put it. Whatever, man. Let's get on with the video. We're shooting at the 3 ball, and here's the 3, here's a 4, here's the 5, and here's the 6. And here's your options. Which shot do you shoot on this 3 ball? Do you play a carom off the 7 ball to make the 3 ball in the right hand side while bringing the cue ball up behind the 4 ball? Do you go for the difficult, very difficult bank on the 3 ball and hit it with speed in order to come up behind the 4 ball? And that's going a long way, all the way up table and then all the way back down table. Or do you thin cut the 3 ball with bottom left and try to hook him behind the 5 ball? If you can get him up against that 5 ball, it's a brilliant safety. And pretty much no matter where the 3 ball ends up, if you can plaster him against that 5 ball, it's a brilliant safety. And this is not pass or foul. There's no wrong answers here. We're just determining your style of play. And that thing that you hear in the background, that's a ping pong machine, and someone is practicing their return serve. And that thing is pretty nuts. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with that thing. But anyway, back to pool. The 3 ball is in a crazy place, but yeah, that was actually the intro shot. So. I shoot the 1 ball bottom left's the right shot. I don't know what happened there. It came up short. I was just trying to get straight in on the 2 and get a little bit further down table. And here's how we end up in a weird position on the 3 ball. And this is the intro shot here. So if you remember your answer, here it is right here. And what I do is not necessarily the right thing to do. I'm not one of those guys that do what I do. Everybody has their own style of play, and we're just determining your style of play. And you guys pretty much know, if you've been around a while, what my style is. There's Paul Smitty. That was the first friend I made in here. When I first walked in here, Paul Smitty. Anyway, there's the bank shot. And this 4-ball shot is just straight bottom. There's no left or right here. It's already at a slight angle, and all we have to do is kind of stun it over. But I didn't get over far enough. And here's where I shoot the wrong shot. I'm shooting it with bottom right when it should have been top right. That bottom is only going to widen the angle, and that's what caused it to run into the 6. And now I'm stuck with the bank. But lately I've been working a lot on banks. The top right on that to get back up the table. And to get the right angle on the 7 to get back down table on the 9. And it's just straight top to go into the rail and bounce at the right angle down on the 9. Center ball on the 9 ball. Center ball because you don't want anything to go wrong. You don't want any deflection. Option A is aggressive, but only because this is not a gimme. This is not dead on. You're going to have to hit that 7-ball perfect. It really comes down to what table you're playing on, but this is not an automatic 3-ball. Option B is super aggressive because banks are aggressive in 9-ball and 8-ball, but this is super aggressive because there's a really tight margin here. You can easily run into the 9-ball, and you're going to have to shoot it perfect if that was what you chose to do. It's also not easy to get right on the 4-ball. Option C is conservative, and if this is what kind of player you are, would really try to work hard on freezing up the cue ball when you're playing a safety like this. And in this case, you're going to be freezing it to the 5 ball. Let's check out our options in game number 2. And we're going to be shooting at the 5 ball here, and there's a couple of things you can do and a couple of different options. Here's the 5, here's the 7, here's the 8, here's the 9. So let's look at option A. And that would be to draw it back with bottom right in order to shoot the 7 ball in the bottom right hand corner. Option B is just hit a stop shot on the 5 ball and go to rouse on the 5 to get it behind the 8 ball and to snooker your opponent. And here's option C, and there's a lot that can go wrong with this shot, but the things that can go wrong aren't as bad as you might think. So you should just consider all your options before choosing one and committing to it. And since I've been doing this type of videos where you guys choose your own shot, I found out there's options I miss all the time, and if you see something that I just blatantly missed that you might do, that's what the comments are for. That's the whole idea, is to interact in the video. So don't be shy about it. Now let's go ahead and roll game 2 and see what happens. Have always center ball on the break. And I'm breaking from the right hand side of the table this night, which is a little unusual for me on this table. Now take note of that 4 ball up in the top right hand corner. It's easy to forget about and just not even see it all. But it's there, and I put left hand English on this, and I really didn't have to. Top center would have been fine, and I wouldn't have hit the 2 ball. Everything would have been fine, and I would have had the right angle to get center table to shoot that 4 ball stuck in the hole up there. Now I got to roll forward to get around the 9 ball and take a long shot. And yeah, I went rail first here. You don't have to do that. You can just, bounce it off the top rail, the short rail, with top left, but just shoot it lightly so it don't get away from you. And that was the intro shot right there. And you can see it landed me a little off angle on the 7 ball. And I just had to stun that over. I would have rather been straight in on the 8, but hey, pool's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Center ball here, again, you don't want any deflection while you're shooting a 9 ball. And let's go take a look at the examples and the intro shot. Option A is a shot with bottom right, and the reason it's somewhere between super aggressive and aggressive is because a lot can go wrong here, including hitting the 7 and just winding up in a terrible position. But more so than that is you're limiting your options to just one pocket, and that's bottom right hand corner to shoot the 7, and you're going to pretty much have to get straight in or you're going to be in trouble. Option B is conservative, and it's a safety, and it's not really that good of a safety. There's other safety shots here that I would recommend if you're dead set on shooting a safety here for some reason. Then yeah, there's better ways to do it. Option C is aggressive, but not as aggressive as you might think. And there's also a lot that can go wrong, but the things that can go wrong aren't as bad as they might seem. If you shoot this bad and don't hit center ball, and you run into the 8 ball, you'll still have a good shot on the 7 ball if you hit it full. If you come up long and shoot it too hard, you're going to have a shot in the top left-hand corner. If you shoot it too soft, you're going to have a shot in the right-hand side, although it might be a little bit difficult to get back on the 8. And that's where we stand. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And remember, I'm not your teacher. I'm not your lesson giver. I'm not your pool instructor. And you're not my student. You're my friend, and friends don't let friends play bad pool. So subscribe to me.